much this means to me that you are all here, because I know just about everybody in the room. But I want to introduce Mrs. Burgess. This is her first children's book, but she's been an author since
the 90s. Yes, the early 90s. That's a while. Yeah, 15 years.
And she's been publishing for a long time. And she came up with this character, Tom Hawkins, and she wrote a really brilliant book that all of you that have had a chance to read it are liking or really love. So I'm going to hand this over to her and let her talk to you about how she came up with this book, the story, the characters, and if you have any questions, you don't have to wait. Just raise your hand and ask them. We're going to talk to each other, okay?
Okay, thank you, Eileen. How many people here have read some or all of the book? Yay! Okay, very good. Generally, one of the first questions that I get when I show up to talk about books, some people want to be authors, some people just love to read, but they say, how do you get those ideas? Where does the idea from the book come from? And in this book, the idea came first from the characters, and that would be Tom and Porter, who are the two brothers who are twins. Do we have any twins in the room? Anybody here? You're a twin? You both are twins? Very good. You're a twin?
No, but my little sisters are twins.
Your little sisters are twins. Okay. That's where the idea started from. I read an article in a magazine that talked about twins. And what I liked about it was it didn't talk about identical twins. Now, are you an identical twin? No? No? Okay.
They look a lot alike.
They look a lot alike. Because when I was growing up, I knew twins, different types of twins. There were some twins that liked to fool the teachers and change places and try and fool their friends. And then there were other twins, like Tom and Porter in the book, who were very, very different and really didn't like having this other person around. And I thought that would be an interesting way to start a book. Yes?
I know some twins.
You know some twins too? Well, maybe
a book.
In a book, or?
Yeah, a book.
In a book. Well, that's what this book is.
Fred and George.
Oh, of course. Who here knows Fred and George? Identical twins. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Exactly. Those are probably the most famous twins, right? But those two got along. The twins in MAPMAKER don't really get along. In fact, they don't really like each other very much. So I thought that would be a fun way to start, to have two brothers who don't, one of them knows the other one exists, the other one doesn't, and they just don't get along. So we started with that. That was the basic idea for the book. And then I added in, I saw a TV show about things that a long time ago people used to believe the earth was flat, they used to believe certain medicines would cure certain illnesses, things like that. And then it turned out, we thought, oh, they were wrong, but it turned out some of them were right. So I kind of put together the idea of twins, along with things that people used to believe that we decided weren't true, but now we know maybe they were. So I thought, what if the ancient maps, how many of you have seen ancient maps with dragons, and you've seen ancient maps? Excellent. You've seen some. Did you ever look at it and think maybe this was real? No? Everybody just thought they were fantasy? Anyone think it would be cool if they were real? Definitely. Definitely. And that's where the book came together. I started thinking about two brothers who were separated, and they had to go to an ancient land that was real. And I'm going to start off, before we take questions, because I know not everybody here has read the book. I'll start off by doing a reading that kind of sets up what the book is about. And I'm going to sit down for this for a minute. The main character is Tom, and a one-legged pirate has shown up to give him a map that he says came from his father. And this is what happened when Umbry, who's the pirate, gives the map to Tom, who's a 13-year-old boy. Umbry turned and looked at Tom. "I'll speak plain, lad, because we don't have much time. Your father was a cartographer," he said, "a map maker, the best who ever lived. This map was his masterpiece. The problem is, it's locked. That's why Keegan's men were after you. You can unlock it. Tom frowned. I don't have a key. I didn't say a key would unlock the map. I said you could unlock it. You are the key, or at least part of the key. Umbry lifted his hand. He drew it across the surface of the map, holding it a few inches above. See? Nothing. It's the same when Mortimer does it. Now you try. Me? Why? Do it, lad. With a shrug, Tom raised his hand and mimicked the motion. There, now what? Umbry's hand shot out. He caught Tom's wrist and held it still, locking it in a grip just shy of painful. All traces of warmth had left his eyes. I can't fault you for not knowing your past, but I will fault you for turning your back on everyone who gave their life to keep this map, and you, safe. He released Tom's wrist. Your father's gift is in you, lad, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not. It may not answer our questions just yet, but the map will speak to you if you let it. I tried. Try harder. This time, put a little heart into it. Tom bit back a surge of annoyance and turned away. Having nowhere else for his gaze to fall, he studied the map, really looked at it. As he did, a tremor of nervous anticipation shot through his belly. He felt as if he'd just reached the peak of a monster roller coaster and was about to plummet to the ground. Then, slowly, his trepidation was replaced by something else. An odd warmth spread through him. Recognition set in. The map seemed to shimmer, silently calling out to him, as though it were a living thing aching to be awakened by his touch. He took a deep breath, centered his thoughts, and drew his palm over the parchment. Nothing. Feeling foolish, he began to pull his hand away when he felt a sudden tingling sensation surge through his fingertips. A sharp sting followed. Ow! He jerked back his hand and looked at it. A miniature spear, no bigger than a pin.